Hi, Jenna.
Well, hi, Shelby.
And welcome back to Miss Willa's Book Club.
Welcome back. It feels like our last real episode of summer.
I know it does. Isn't that so sad?
Do you want to tell everybody what we're drinking in honor of the last episode of summer?
Like literally the most summery drink ever. So we are drinking vodka and Sunny D. Yes, from your childhood.
Which I know that they make the Sunny D Seltzer cans. Have you tried those yet?
They're so good.
Are they?
Like literally so good.
I haven't tried these. I keep seeing at festivals and stuff. They've been one of the bar options at festivals, but I haven't tried them yet.
So good. Literally so delicious. I think I even brought them over for like 4th of July or something.
Nice.
Yeah, but it tastes exactly like this. Maybe less strong though. So in honor of finishing out our summer reading, we are reading Abby Jimenez, Part of Your World.
Yes, this is the first of it's at least a trilogy, although I don't know if there's going to be more or if the trilogy was the end of it, but it's Part of Your World, Yours Truly,
and then Just for the Summer.
Just for the Summer.
Was the last one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've heard that all three of them are like equally as good as the others.
Yes. Well, there's so many girls at book club that keep saying that of all rom-coms that they specifically love this series. Mm-hmm. Like this author generically, but this series in particular. So I think it's been a few months that they've been trying to get us to read them. And I finally picked it up and read it in a day.
Literally same. Yeah. Read it in 24 hours.
Well, so on that note, what did you rate Part of Your World?
I gave Part of Your World 5 stars. Yes. I feel like I had to. Like, it was so good. Mm-hmm. So good. It was so easy to read. Mm-hmm. Never kept me in a lull. I love it. What about you?
I also gave it 5 stars. And I think the only other rom-coms I've ever given 5 stars to were the Allie Hazelwood ones, the STEM ones. Then forgetting the Love Hypothesis.
Yep, and then Love Theoretically.
And Love Theoretically. Yeah. So this is the only other book so far that I've got that is in the like contemporary genre that I have ever given 5 stars to.
Oh my gosh! Mm-hmm. Oh well, that's really exciting.
Yeah, I loved it. It was adorable, and it's set in like Minnesota.
Oh my god, how fun was that?
I know we're both Denver girls now, but we're originally from Minnesota and my family lives in Iowa now, so there was a little bit of that, like, oh, it's home.
I felt literally the exact same way, and I didn't realize that she was the owner of Nadia Cakes.
I didn't either. I didn't even know that the owner of Nadia Cakes was an author.
Me neither.
Which was super cool, because I definitely have been to Nadia Cakes and like eaten the dessert there.
Definitely, it is so good. We grew up like literally 10 minutes from one.
Yeah.
And it might have been the first one.
Yeah,
was the first one in Woodbury?
Oh, I thought they said it was downtown somewhere.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Let me look in the back. Oh, maybe it doesn't say. I also didn't know she was on Food Network. I didn't know the owner.
I didn't know that either.
So I've learned a lot of things from the back cover of this book.
To meet the author. Yeah. I also love that there was like a question section at the end
discussion questions. Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's really cute.
And that there was a crepe recipe, which if you haven't read this book, then it'll make sense once you read it. But
so special.
That was cute.
Precious. Oh my god, do we have any other spoiler free?
I don't think I have any more spoiler free. Only that if you haven't read this book, do be warned. There are a couple trigger warnings. So specifically if domestic violence is a sensitive topic for you, then I warn you to be cautious going into this book.
Absolutely. 100%.
But with that, spoilers?
Let's get into some spoilers. So before we totally get into some spoilers, you guys know where to find us. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow over on our social medias. We are Miss Willa's Book Club Pod on both Instagram and TikTok. And then give us a review on Apple Podcasts because it super helps us out. So
let's put that beauty right there.
That looks up there. Well, I like it.
It does look pretty up there, although I will say I didn't love this cover when I first saw it.
I didn't either.
It did kind of put me off to it. And not that I necessarily have an issue with like cartoon covers or whatever, but now that I've read the book, the cover makes sense. But I had absolutely no idea what was going on in this cover. And I don't know why I thought this was a holiday book.
Yeah.
Did you too? I think because of like the stars and stuff for some reason there. I don't know why I thought this was a holiday book.
Yeah.
Which it's obviously not. It's more of a summer book.
It definitely is, 100%, but it looks like it could be a winter book.
It does.
For sure.
I'm glad that's not just me. I kind of felt crazy there.
No, I felt the exact same way. And I feel like, honestly, I do get deterred by the cartoon character books.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it's not going to be satisfying. It's not going to be fulfilling. This was anything but unfulfilling.
It was so good.
So good.
I mean, first, can we just say goats in pajamas?
Oh my freaking God, that was so cute.
Even with it starting when she's at the VF, which also being the VFW was cracking me up.
Dude, I used
Minnesota,
to go to if you know, you know.
And I know that this was in Iowa, but yeah, the VFWs in the Midwest are definitely like a place to go. So
I lived off of Lindale and Lake. There is an apartment, like the big apartment that's like very colorful.
Yeah,
I lived there.
Oh,
and it's right next to the VFW.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my God, I used to go there all the time.
Yes. So funny. So that
funny.
already was cracking me up. But then when he's being like, oh yeah, I gotta go take care of the kid. And
Me too.
Gotta put the kid to bed or gotta go feed the kid or whatever. And she's like, oh, okay. Like, you know,
Did you think that
a child?
That's what I thought.
I thought it was a child.
Me too.
Like, she totally had me hooked. And I was cackling then when he's also saying, like, I guess maybe it's a little bit later when he says the names of all of the different barnyard
Oh my God, that was so cute.
Kevin Bacon tabbed that.
No, I didn't. Bummer. It was so funny.
I know. Well, it was like Kevin Bacon and like
something the
Obama
kid.
Barack Obama. I think that's what it was. And there was a bunch of other fun ones. So yeah,
it was hilarious.
That was an immediate win for me.
Oh my God. It was so cute. And I love that that's what got her.
I know.
He has a goat in pajamas and she's like, what? I need to see it. Can I just say, we have to protect Daniel at all costs.
Oh, I know. Poor sweet baby.
Poor sweet angel baby.
He's like, I'm just a good cook for breakfast and I take care of the family Airbnb and I care about every single person in my small town.
And he was just like so precious, and he was
so
never
precious.
angry with her.
Yeah.
And he always understood, because like low-key, I've been in situations where like one person wants a relationship and the other one doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's really hard not to be angry.
Yeah.
And he was just so nice.
He was. Well, and even when he shows up at the hospital and realizes that she's not happy about it, he even took that pretty gracefully, to be honest, because it could have been really easy to be mad that she was not very nice, you know,
100%.
And acting like she didn't know him. And like the whole time I felt like
he was just
was very mature for being so much younger.
I know. How did you love that she was older?
I mean, I didn't like specifically love it, but I don't know that I had a feeling about it one way or the other. Yeah, you particularly liked it. I loved
it because we always see like the woman is a little younger or she's still a girl.
Right. Yeah.
And so it was really nice that like she was a little bit older and she's STEM. Yeah. It just wasn't a huge theme.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, I guess I liked that she was older. It was more that I didn't care that he was younger per se.
Oh yeah, I didn't. I liked that.
But I did like that she was older for sure.
Me too. It like felt more relatable. Like we had like more similar like life experiences, and so I felt like I could connect with her a little bit better.
Yeah. What was one of your favorite parts of the book?
I think one of my favorite parts of the book was when probably like right after the hospital scene, and then her best friend goes in and goes, hey, so that was a shit show. Let's talk about it. Because honestly, if we were in that situation and you knew how I felt about a man, you would be like, okay, no, we're getting back into this. Like, I know that you would do that for me and I would do that for you.
Obviously.
And so I think just to see like that friendship and like not to let her friend like ruin her own happiness, I loved that theme.
And I think seeing Alexis, right? Wasn't that her name?
I think so.
Yes, Alexis. Yes. Seeing her have to navigate like the difficulties of different friendships you form in adulthood through different places, because I think everybody falls in that sometimes, that either there's friends of your partners that you're friends with just because of that, or like friends of situation because your neighbors, like how she was with them or something. And so I did appreciate that she could see like the value in the one true friend that she could talk to about everything. and that after she saw the other women be not so nice to Daniel, not even knowing that he had anything to do with her, but just how they treated somebody that wasn't of what they viewed as their stature, then
how sad was that part?
So sad.
The fact that she was like, turn around, take that 1-star review off, and then she did it anyway.
It was so sad. But that did feel very upper class to do something 100%. Like that. It made me really mad.
It made me really mad too, because I was like, oh, I hope I'm not friends with people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of why everybody should have to work in the service industry 100%. Of some sort at least once, because I think that if you've never had to experience how people are treated, you don't really get it as deeply.
100%. Absolutely. What was your favorite part of the book?
It started sad with the friends being there and being mean, but then her being like, I'm sick, and staying back to hang out with him, like at the B&B or whatever, and they're just like spending all this time together and hiding away in his little tiny apartment and stuff. That whole part was so sweet, because I feel like that was the first moment that we start to see her be like, you know what? I don't have to go and do the thing with the girls. If I want to hang out with him, then I want to hang out with him. And that's good.
Preach. I also really loved that part, because it did start out sad, and then you just kind of see like her friends. Yeah. When they got in the car, I did not see it coming that's where they were going. No? Not at all.
Oh, I did a little bit. As soon as they were saying, as soon as she was like, oh yeah, they booked it, I was like, oh, for sure this is what's going to happen.
Oh, really?
100%, yeah. I was like, but I loved it. I like saw it coming, and I wanted that. Yeah.
It was so fun. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
I also feel like, domestic violence is a very, very tough topic to talk about and to experience, obviously. And I felt like the way that it was done in this book was just so beautiful. Like, you have the multifaceted aspect of it, where you have like the way that Alexis was going through it, and then the way that the friend in the Iowa
small
city,
town,
in the small town, that she was dealing with it, and everybody kind of went through it in their own way. But I love that Alexis like kept trying to pull her out of it, and just the way that it was done, I feel like brought light to how many different ways that domestic violence can like happen to people.
Yeah, and I think I appreciate that about Alexis's situation not being physical, also because that emotional, I don't know.
Yeah.
Emotional impact is still not very nice to do to a partner. And since her family, and it kind of felt like her friends were not really recognizing that there was anything wrong with how she was being treated, and having her come to terms with that and really accept for herself that like, yes, this is domestic violence, and yes, I don't need to handle this anymore. Like, it doesn't matter my age or my situation. Like, I don't need to tolerate that behavior. Absolutely. And so seeing like her grow through that as she's trying to help the other woman was really sweet.
I know, it was really sweet. And I'm so glad that the other woman got out of it.
Yes. Oh, of course it's a fucking sheriff too.
I know, right? I was like, wow, classic. He's like his literal job is to protect people, and then he's hitting his wife.
Yeah.
That is horrible.
God, it was like so sad too when they have the scene in the street when they witness her be shoved out of the car, and the sheriff is like, has that like, what you gonna do about it kind of attitude. Like, at least be a little embarrassed that they witnessed you be so awful.
And he just like did not care.
No, he didn't.
Not at all. Yeah. So did you expect Neil to actually change?
No.
I didn't either.
I really didn't. I didn't see that coming. I really didn't see him actually going to therapy and taking it seriously and growing from that experience. Yeah. And being like, I can see why, you don't want to.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel the exact same way. And I think while I was reading that, I felt like this was a really good way of her putting us into our main character's shoes, because she was like, oh, she's been through so much over this entire book, over the last 7, 10, however many years. And now he's trying to change, but she's already over it.
Right. He missed his opportunity.
He missed his opportunity. And I loved that we got that point of view, because he was like, well, I'll have you if you take me. She was like, no, I've dealt with enough of this. And she didn't stay. And I loved that.
Yeah. I did feel kind of mad though about her brother. I understand that he didn't want to subject his new wife to the terribleness that was the family, but it was kind of a shit move.
Honestly, though.
Like, to not even really, I don't know, loop her in what was going on at all, and then to just leave her with all of the responsibility that she wasn't anticipating having to fill those shoes. Like, even if he didn't want to either, that felt like he should have at least had a straightforward conversation with her and been like, I know that I'm leaving this for you and I'm sorry. This is why, you know?
Just like literally never even said anything. Just, hey, guess what? Peace.
Right.
Bye. I got married. Like, what?
I'd be so mad. And twin, too. Wasn't it a twin brother?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe older brother, but still, like, they were so close. And he was, like, born for the spotlight. He was born to, like, basically, I don't want to say be the punching bag, but, like, he kind of was, because he could take it.
He was going to be the face of the family.
Right.
He could fill the spotlight for sure.
Yeah, so it was just a huge bummer that he was gone. Now she had to take over everything. And that was clearly a lot of stress on her. I mean, could you imagine having parents like that?
God, yeah. They're so intense. And not even respecting her role working in the ER instead of being a surgeon. That was...
Oh my God, I know.
Jeez, just terrible.
She's literally still a doctor.
So mean to her.
So mean to her.
Honestly, I kind of felt like she gave them more than I would have in that situation.
100%. 100%. She was so
tolerant,
yeah, and willing to do literally whatever they wanted her to do so that she looked like this, like, perfect angel.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking to myself, like, girl, put yourself first.
I know.
Like, what are you doing?
I know.
It made me sad.
It did.
But I also, like, so as, like, the oldest child, granted, she's not actually the oldest, but, like, I felt that way as the oldest kid, that, like, I felt like sometimes, like, my achievements were overshadowed a little bit, and I was just expected to be great, expected to do great things, and so, like, if I didn't, it was always a really, really big deal, but, like, my younger siblings can do whatever they want, and they're, like, praised for it.
They get away with it,
and so I kind of felt like it was the same with Alexis and her brother Derek, that, like, they had that kind of a momentum where, like, Derek could do whatever he wanted, but then he did end up getting, like, shunned.
Yeah, seriously shunned. Oh my gosh.
And even at the end, the dad was, like, still wanted nothing to do with her. How sad is that?
That's terrible. I loved that she made that announcement just during her speech in front of everybody. Like, the night before is scrambling, you know, to get all these things approved. Doesn't tell the family. Oh my God, I loved that satisfaction.
Oh, it was such a good surprise. And I absolutely loved what she did with it. I was waiting to see, like, how she was going to make it work. Because you hit that point where she's like, I'm going to make it work. I just don't know how. And so to hear how she did that, I was like, I was so proud. And
it is so real to you fall in love with people in the wrong places, or like in the wrong situation, wrong physical location. And it was so Midwestern to be like, oh yeah, for a night, I'm just going to drive down these 3 hours. That's the most Midwestern thing I've ever heard.
I know. She's like, I'll just leave it on Thursday night. I'll be back tomorrow.
So that part definitely made me laugh too, just because I feel like that is like everybody in the Midwest drives everywhere.
I mean, we literally say it too. Like, now that we live in Denver, like, we would much rather drive. We'll just drive back to Minnesota. It's fine.
I know. Yes, although on that note, how did you feel about her driving back down by herself to his place without telling anybody where she was going after just like that one night hanging out?
You know,
that's the only thing I have that, like, for me, that was like, girl, what are you doing?
Tell your friends where you are.
Share your location with someone.
Yes, like literally nobody knows that you're doing this.
You didn't even know his last name.
No,
like, come on.
You found him by calling the local bar. And I was like, what are you doing? Yeah. I know, because you know how many times I've been like, hey, Jenna, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, but at least somebody knows where you physically were in that time. So I'm like, if I was her friend and I knew that you had just been driving hours to an unknown location.
Are you alive?
I would be flipping shit.
Absolutely. You're like, if you end up dead, I'm going to be so mad at you. Oh my God.
I'm like, don't make me comb ditches for miles trying to find you.
Because I know you would.
I would.
I know. Well, that's the beauty of it too. Like, we have now location sharing abilities. So I'm like, yeah.
Makes it easier.
Yeah. Catching up on your Sims.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to lie, though. I really thought that the end was going to be them moving into the house and it not being an Airbnb anymore. Because that was not what happened, right? Aren't they still doing it as an Airbnb at the end?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, no, because I think they got married and then I think because they got married, they were able to move into the grandpa's house.
Oh, okay, okay.
Funny. How funny was that? Where
he that's right. That's right. They did move in because he didn't want to do anything in the bedroom.
he was like, no, I can't unless we're married. The things that I want to do to you. I was like, oh.
Yes. Oh my God, I loved it. He was like really crawling to her the whole time. And that was so fun.
I loved it.
And I loved that he was always trying to cook for her, even if it wasn't always super fancy things. But it was so precious.
It's just such an act of love.
And to have her feel like she can relax and be taken care of and feel safe. But at the same time, he's willing to teach her how to do some basic things without making fun of her or making her feel stupid or inadequate, you know.
You want to know that makes me actually think of Gianni a lot too, because Gianni is very patient in that manner. Because like I didn't grow up doing any sort of like labor. Like I grew up in a very like I didn't have to like fix things. Like we had my dad would go like call people and they would come fix things, and so I, as an adult, am having to learn a lot of things. And I feel like Gianni is just so patient with it that he's like, oh, no, this is how you do it. Like, let me teach you how to do it. And, like, I love a man that's a good fixer-upper.
Oh, yeah. You got a handyman there.
I have a very handy man. Yeah, it's precious.
Oh, yeah. I liked her getting to learn those things along. Although a little bit of me was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I didn't have to do my own laundry, I wouldn't either. So,
no, definitely not.
I get wanting to feel not reliant on people, but
I know.
Oh my God, when she even didn't know that there were breakers on your house, I was like, okay, I'm just like.
Also, the fact that he turned off the power when she left.
Oh my God, he was.
He
being Neil, obviously.
Yes.
Yes,
he was awful.
What's the? God, there's like a specific word I'm looking for, and I'm like not thinking of what it is.
A gaslighter, a manipulator, abusive.
No, it just he was constantly being so like subtly aggressive. You know,
yeah, passive aggressive.
Kind of, yeah. Well, it was very Midwestern.
It was very, very Midwestern. Yep.
Also, him moving back into the house to be like, well, I'm more likely to get it if I'm living here too. You can't kick me out.
I was like, what? Dude, you probably make so much money as the head of surgery. Like, go find a new freaking house. And she even said that too. She was like, go find a new house. Like, stop trying to steal mine. You know all of the things I've done to this to make this like my house.
Although, to be fair, I will say that was one place where I felt like she was very real and being petty. Petty was the word I was looking for before.
Yes.
I felt like that pettiness was very fair because they did buy that house together at the same time. He is one that was working a lot of hours at the hospital that was close by. I mean, they really did have equal say in it. It's like, we only want to back Alexis because he's a douchebag.
Absolutely.
And so we hate him, you know, obviously. Stand together, girls.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, I mean, did she really have any more say to that house than he did?
Because she furnished it? I know.
Like, yes, I don't know. So there was a little bit of the like, yeah.
And there is such a thing as like common law marriage too, and so they probably did have equal rights to that house.
Yeah, well, they bought it together, I think.
Exactly. So yeah, damn, that was
very
rough.
complicated.
Very complicated. Yeah.
I just felt so sad that it seemed like she just lost all of her personality every time that she would come back to the cities.
I know.
And like that she seemed so happy. Well, by the end, she was all happy and comfortable in the town, but it did make me kind of sad when she wouldn't go into the diner with him or anything.
Oh my God, that also.
She's like, we can hang out in your apartment, but nobody can see me.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like, who are they going to tell? Like, they're like this small town of like 200 people. Like, who are they going to tell?
Right.
They're not going to go all over social media and be like, oh, this doctor is here.
I know.
Crazy.
And then him feeling sad, 'cause he's like, are you embarrassed to be seen with me? I was like, oh.
And she's like, no, that's not it. But it did seem that way.
Yeah.
Which is really sad. When she delivered that baby.
That's when you really knew she was part of the town. You're like, yeah. And because had been building to that point to be clear that they needed some type of medical in the area, that there was enough people that were needing medical things. Hi there, sweetheart.
Just like a little sweet girl.
Yeah, I've just got a little dog
loves.
panting in my corner of my mic, so I apologize if you guys can hear that in the background. But yeah, it was like clear that they did need medical because they were like having to travel so far to do anything, and they were doing such janky stuff.
Oh my god, like they were doing stitches with like hook line.
Fish hook stuff, yeah. But then when she packs up the whole emergency kit and her friend is like, oh, you need to include this and this and this too.
Put this in there, put this. Yeah.
So
oh my
sweet.
god, that was so precious. And the fact that she was teaching people in the town like what to do in case of emergencies. Oh, I loved it. I think that's why I loved so much, like why it was so impactful that she was the doctor that ended up opening a clinic there, is because like not only did she know that they needed it, but now she's helping her friends.
Right. And because there are so many fantasy books in particular that we read where when there's a strong, powerful girl, she like ends up, giving up her powers to save people. And so there was this little moment of time where you're like, damn, is she just going to stop being an influential doctor because she cares so much to be here and she loves this town?
I did think
Which I like did question for a second whether it was going to happen. I'm like, oh, I would not have liked if it had gone that direction.
She's like, I'm just not going to be a doctor anymore.
Well, and she's like, I'm just not going to be the doctor that you all expected me to be. Like, I can still be influencing this and doing this whole program to try and reach these like underreached communities and stuff. And so she still is like doing the deed that she should do as this like family spearhead. And
if anything, I think that she had more of an impact on the world for her doing that rather than just like being a name and just like being a doctor in a hospital. Like she is like groundbreaking. We love it. We love smart women.
Yeah. No, she is like doing good in the world and in the community, which was super fun.
I know. It made me so happy. It was just so precious. What do you think it is about this book, rather than like some other romances that we read, that made this so good?
That's a good question. I think the variety of a relationship struggles I appreciated in there. She's got the single friend who is, which I'm hoping that must be who the next book is about. But
I hope so. Gosh.
But we've got the single friend who's just jealous that she has anybody at all that she's talking to. Right. We have Alexis's confusion with Daniel of feeling like he's not the right person, even though she's like having a good time.
Absolutely.
And that question of, is just having a good time together enough to be the rest of my life? And, clearly her neighbor friends have unique relationships with their spouses too. And I don't know, the complexity with Neil, there was just, I don't know.
There's so much.
Even her mom and dad and their dynamic, and her mom constantly kind of biting her tongue and just going along with what dad says. I don't know. I think that that's part of why I really liked it, is there's just such a range.
There really was such a range. I like it. And I felt like the characters were really complex. And I loved that. Because, Shelby's all about the characters.
And it was funny.
It was funny.
It was funny without being overly corny.
Yes. Yes, that's actually a really good way to put it. Because I feel like some of like the Allie Hazelwood books that
can get corny. They can get corny.
Definitely get pretty cheesy. And so for this one, I just felt like it wasn't as much. And I felt like the problems that they went through were real problems, and you had like a good perspective. Like, I'm not somebody that lives in a small town, and I actually did used to live in Minneapolis, but I'm also like not in her exact position, but I felt like I could relate to them both so well.
What did you think of the special carpentry business moving to social media and her posting and her like upselling it to her friends and stuff?
So not only do I like a handyman, I like a crafty man and somebody that can like produce art and stuff like that. Oh my God. I thought that just made him so much more attractive. And the fact that he was like, didn't even know his worth. And now he sold it for like $12,000.
I know.
He's like, I just said, fuck it.
I know. I loved that. It was so cute.
It was so cute.
I thought that was cool. And because I think that helped him and his self-confidence too, because he had clearly been feeling like not deserving of her a little bit. Like he was really trying to do everything he could to be a good partner and to be a good boyfriend. But he clearly felt, young and felt like he didn't deserve her and all of her fame or wealth that came along with that. And so I think that was one thing too, where he's like, hey, I am good at things. Like people do value me. And
I wish I could see a picture of it.
Yeah, right?
Of like the
I know.
artwork that he did. Like, oh, it sounded so amazing.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was just like his hype woman right next to him. Oh my God, I loved it so much. I thought it was so good.
Super cute.
Oh man. And the fact like that he kept going out of his way to make her feel so special.
Yes.
Like, to me, making somebody feel special is like so important in a relationship, friendship, anything. And the fact that he did that any chance that he could, oh my gosh, it was so special. Like, even though it didn't end up very well, when he showed up at her work to surprise her with flowers and a congratulations because he knew that she would
that it was a
get
big
this
day for her.
position.
Yeah.
Oh, like I
was so
effort.
sad when that didn't go. Although I appreciated that at least she was like, yeah, this is my boyfriend, actually.
I know. I was wondering what she was
And
going to
that
say.
he shook Neil's hand.
Yes. And Neil reacted better than I expected.
I know. It was better than I expected.
I was, damn. The dad, though, I don't
Yeah.
think I've resented a character in a book that much for a
while.
long time.
Yeah, he was awful.
He was
absolutely. But to his
awful.
own daughter, absolutely awful.
And son and mother.
Like, no redeeming qualities for me
No.
whatsoever.
Literally none. And even the fact that he never changed. Never
No.
changed. Can't grow. But I did like that the mom did a little bit.
Yeah. But that felt real. That was probably part
It
of
did.
why I liked it, is because, yeah, I didn't expect the ex to change, but that felt more reasonable than
Yeah, definitely.
the dad anyways. So I kind of appreciated that at least one character
Yeah.
really is just sucks still at the
Yeah.
end. You know?
No. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I loved this book so much.
So I take it that sounds like you'll probably read yours truly.
Absolutely. In fact, I ordered it with my book of the month for this next month. And so it should be here tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, I already own the other two. So
You
I
do?
definitely will too. Yeah.
Did you already own them before you bought this first one?
Well, no, I got yours truly because it was the book of the year for book of the month.
month.
And in case you don't use book of the month, it's really great, and
It
you
is
get
so
a free
good.
book every year. 2 free books every year.
I know, and I just got a free one.
Oh yeah, for your birthday.
For my birthday!
The other thing. Cheers to
Oh, yeah.
Cheers to
Cheers
Shelby's
my
birthday.
drink is gone. Cheers, there might be some on the bottom.
Yeah, so if you've made it this far listening to us, blow up our social media for Shelby's birthday.
Aw. I know it. Honestly, we couldn't be here without with all of our book friends. Which is where we got the idea to do this, because they've literally been begging us.
They have been begging us
for
to read it.
months.
Yep. It's fun when we get to pick up suggestions of, I think
I
there have been a
know.
few books now that we picked up as suggestions from our followers or our friends from book club and
Yeah.
stuff. So
I
you
know.
guys do have an influence. So if this is any sign
Oh,
that you have
yes.
something you want us to read really badly,
Blow
keep
up our
sending it our
socials.
way.
We'll definitely see it eventually.
Yep.
And I feel like we get a lot of the same, like, fantasy romance or like high fantasy, sci-fi. And so it's fun when it's just like a light little fun book, like, even though I literally sobbed my eyes out.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Of
It was
course I
very,
did.
very moving.
It was very moving. All right, Jonathan, do we have anything else to say about Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez?
I think that's it.
I think so too.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yay. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.